So once again, you are welcome back to this class, and this is a continuation of the former class on diode. We are still going to talk more on diode today, and like I said, someone asked, why is the diode reading in voltage and you switch it to diode range? And it's because we were told that diode for silicon had a breakdown voltage of 0.7. Germanium had it's not 0.5 for germanium. And this IN4007 is supposed to be silicon, but because it's a practical something, and it's a practical something, hardly you can get exactly that 0.7 volts. So the meter induces a voltage to that diode to read it. That's why if your meter is not strong enough, if you are reading on board, it can easily run down because it is generating a voltage to that diode. Hello, hope it's understood. So it flows only in one direction. From the previous reading, you saw it like that. This is on board. Why is it on board? Because the components are on the board. Off board are where the components are off the board. If you want to get an effective reading of that component, you read in outside the board. But there are some components that don't warrant you desoldering it out of the board because of one or two complexity issues, or because the board is so choked up. So because of that, you are not to bring them out of the board. You just have to read it like that. Like the former reading I read, we find out that it shows that a diode is one direction. Diode has a range of 0.400, let me say 0.400 volts to 0.600 and something volts. It's still okay for diode reading. This is what I'm talking about. Let me redo it again. I want to read this diode. Look at the meter. .589. Let me see what this thing is reading. 0.585. I think you see it. If you turn it the other way around, it will not read. So because that's what diode is all about. So you go around the rest of the diode and you read it like that for you to know whether they are good or not. So once again, this is how you can troubleshoot diode on board. Now, if you look at this board, you will see another thin S again. There's something like this. This component you see here is diode, but watch what they did. Under it, you will see a symbol of a Zener diode. So meaning this is a Zener diode. I've forgotten the value, but it's a 6.2 volt Zener diode. Now, let me read the Zener diode for you to see what it gives me. And Zener diode, the value for a Zener diode is a little bit higher than a normal diode. This one is 5.8, but the Zener diode is 0.61. Some even get up to 0.700. Zener diode always had a higher value, slightly higher. But when you see the diode and that it comes to 0.100 or something, 0.200 or something, put that diode on suspect. Something is wrong within that aspect. Something is wrong within that part of the board. Now, one of the faults is a diode normally had in general is that it reads continuously. You will be reading continuity. You will be reading continuity. So there are different type of diode you see in the board. So especially AC panels is common for LG. Before you know, when you read the diode, you see it reading continuity, reading continuously, shouting like this. Then you know that diode is faulty. That's one of the easiest diode failure. Some normally go out of range, it will not read at all. But the most common one is it will read continuity. When it got blown out, it started reading continuity. So once again, take note of that. Any other form of diode again. Let me show you another form of diode again. Some call it signal diode. This is it. Some call it signal diode. Let's see what this one will read, and let's verify what this one will read. Some call it signal diode. .64. That is a signal diode. It's a IN40. It's a IN4148. But at times there are some critical places I do use this normal black diode to replace it, and it still work well for me. But there are some sensitive part I don't temper changing it. If I see it across these relays, this signal diode, I normally change them because they easily got damaged than this one. So if I see it across a relay, I just change it. So once again, this is all about diode. If you have any question, you can ask. Any comment, you can ask. Hello. So once again, this is the end of this class. Watch out for our next class on troubleshooting again. So we are done with diode, but if you still have a question, comment, anything, you can ask. If I'm skipping anything, ask. The next one we will be dealing on one of the most exciting component, which is transistor, troubleshooting transistor, and we're dealing on board and off board. So once again, thank you.